Well, hey, welcome back. We're going to talk about a jazz blues progression and how to get started playing them and do it by yourself so it sounds really fun with just you and a guitar. Now, there's a good chance you probably already know what like a 1-4-5 progression is in the blues, a 3-chord blues, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'll go to the grave playing that. It's some of my favorite stuff ever. But you're going to encounter more interesting blues tunes and more sophisticated tunes that have more of the jazz blues progression. So we're going to take sort of a common one here. I'm going to show you some new chords that you might not have played before. And then I can even show you a few ways to spruce it up. So let me just play it for you first, and then we'll kind of talk it through, and I'll show you some different ways to make it fun. Now, I'm going to tab all this out and even give you sort of a nice ride cymbal track to play along to, so it sounds nice and jazzy. And you can get that at my website, workingclassguitar.com, where you can try this lesson and all the other hundreds of lessons on there for free for 14 days. Get tabs, tracks, lessons. Click the link below and check it out. All right, so here is the blues by yourself version of a jazz blues. All right, so we're going to be in G. Start with a G7, something like this. I'll play with my thumb to keep it nice and mellow. 2, 3, 4. So pretty straightforward, right? I played through 2 times through the progression there for you. So let me talk you through the chords. I'll flash them up for you so that you have an idea of what we're doing. We're going to start with a simple G7 bar chord. And the rhythm I'm doing with my thumb, and you can do this with a pick, is I want to go play and then kind of mute. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can see my hand kind of releases that too. So it keeps it nice and sort of not real long and sustained. It's going 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's your first chord, first 4 bars. Now we're going to go to a C9, and you'll probably play more 9s in more jazzier blues type stuff. What's nice is when you play that full 9 chord, you get that top first string G in there as well. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, back to the G7. Now this is something you probably haven't done. And we're going to set up the 4 chord by going to a D minor 7. Then you're going to play a G7 sharp 5 like that. Because what happens is, I don't go too deep in the music theory weeds on you, because what I think you should do is get this stuff sounding good and have fun. Then let's reverse engineer it and figure out what it is. Nothing wrong with that. Otherwise, I'm going to be the guitar teacher that bores the heck out of you, and you don't understand all of the theory about secondary dominance and approaching the chord via, a half step away of this and that and blah, 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 right? So we want to play this D minor 7 to this G7 sharp 5 because that sets up the C9 in such a way. And I will tell you this, a lot of folks will call that the 2-5-1 progression going to a C. That's all you need to know. We won't go any deeper. That's it right there. D minor 7 for 2 beats, G7 sharp 5 for 2 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you're into the 4, and we're gonna do this. It's a C sharp diminished 7. And those notes are going to be C sharp, G, B flat, and E. I'll flash it there for you so you can see it. Now this is another setup chord. This chord sets up us going back to the 1 which is where we're headed next, okay? So up to that point, let's do it again. 2, 3, 4, here's the G. A quick 4 change to the C9, back to the 1, 2, 5, 1, approaching the C. Half step up diminished, C sharp diminished 7, back to the 1. Now we're gonna do what's called going to the 6, and that's an E7. 6 notes up from G is E, and we're gonna make it a dominant chord. And that's gonna do something else coming up as well, but very, very common. We're gonna start what's called a 1 to the 6 type change. Now, could you play E9? You absolutely could. You could play a sharp 9. You can play around with this stuff on your own. This is the framework for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, up to that E7. Now we're going to play what's called a 2, 5, 1 going to G. A minor 7, check that out. If you've never played an A minor 7 before, this is a good time to do it. It's a little tricky to get these fingers to lie down on there because we want to have our second finger on the 5th fret, 6th string, and then we want to have the 3rd finger barring strings 4, 3, and 2. Okay? Then what's easier is to go right to a D9. Feels good. So from that point we had G7, E7, A minor 7, D9. Then we're going to finish it off what's called a 1, 6, 2, 5 turnaround. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and we're back to the top. Okay? So let's play the whole thing one more time. A 1, 2, 3, 4 to the 4 chord, quick change. Here comes our new approach. Our flat 5 diminished chord, we'd call that. Up to the 6, 2, A minor 7, 5, D9, 1, 2, the 6, 2, 5, 1. Now again, I'll have this all tabbed out for you on my website as well as a track we can play to. But let's talk about a couple other things. Let's use our fingers, and we're going to use our thumb. And what I like to do is, let's stitch the pick. I like to hold on to it. But I'm going to grab strings 4, 3, and 2 on my right hand. And I might want to take a rhythm like this. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Bap, 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 bap. So I'm going to go 3, 4. So let's do one other thing to make it really fun. Now, if you get super adventurous and you really have these chords nailed down, let's do 1 and 1A. So 1 would be, we can substitute other 7th chords that you might know. Maybe you know chords like that, and you can get really fancy once you know these inversions, which I taught a lot on the channel, so we can kind of cherry pick those, and I teach them a lot in rhythm courses on my site too, where we can go 1, 2, So that's like next level, all right? So let's take it one step even further. This is, you have to know the groundwork before I teach you something fancy, all right? Because I have too many students in the past that came to me and tried to do something fancy, but they didn't know the groundwork first. You gotta know those simple chords in the quarter note playing that I did earlier, okay? So what I like to do is, let's take our thumb and that sort of finger approach, and we're gonna play the bass note half steps away from where it needs to be, like the landing spot or the root. So you could do something like this. That diminished chord up 3 frets, and you'd have a new diminished chord. That would sound really cool too. Now you can go. So what I want you to do, if you want to try that, like I'm just messing around with it, I'm just taking the chord and I'm going a half step below or a half step above to where I need to be. So maybe I'll go. Now I want to go half step above that C9 back to here. Now I want to play this D minor 7 right on the root, G sharp, because I need to go there to that. So it's, maybe I do this here. So that's up, up. I approach it a half step up, down, chord. Kind of a fun one too. I can play D9 to the A note to the D. So these are a preview of coming attractions for this kind of stuff. You can do this once you have the solid foundation available, okay? So hopefully you can go back and just pause this video and check the chord diagram when it's there and then try to play along. I'm gonna play us out with the track of me playing just against a ride cymbal a few different ways, and you'll really see how it works. But get all that stuff at workingclassguitar.com. Check out the link below, and I'll see you guys on the next video. 1, 2, 3, 4.